Have you ever been snorkeling, looked down into the endless blue, and suddenly realized you were sharing the ocean with a sea turtle? It's one of the most magical moments that stays with you forever. And today we're going to capture that feeling in watercolor. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me. Today we're continuing our Traveling the World One Painting at a Time series, and our next destination takes us to the warm, crystal clear waters of Mexico. This painting was inspired by one of my favorite snorkeling adventures, floating peacefully over coral reefs surrounded by schools of colorful fish, and then suddenly spotting a graceful sea turtle gliding effortlessly through the water. It felt almost surreal. Let's see if we can capture a little bit of that magic with watercolor. We'll begin by sketching the outline of our sea turtle. I am using a yellow watercolor pencil, which works wonderfully because it provides a guide for the painting while bleeding seamlessly into the watercolor later. Now, I realize that yellow lines can be difficult to see on camera, so I've sped up this section a bit. If you'd like to sketch along with me, simply pause the video once the outline is complete. By the way, today's painting is inspired by the beautiful reference photograph from Unsplash. I encourage you to choose reference photos that speak to you personally. Every photograph tells a slightly different story, and the one that catches your eye will naturally inspire your own artistic interpretation. Now, let's begin painting. Using a large, round brush, we'll start with a background. The ocean is anything but one flat color, so we'll alternate between different shades of turquoise, deep blue, aqua, and very diluted greens. Don't be afraid to let your colors mingle naturally. Watercolor often creates beautiful transitions by itself. Vary the amount of pigment throughout the page. Some areas should remain very soft and transparent, while others can become slightly richer. This variation creates depth and gives the illusion of sunlight filtering through the tropical water. Now, using a slightly darker mixture, add a few loose, wavy strokes throughout the background. These gentle lines create movement and suggest the ever-changing surface of the ocean. One of the reasons I love painting underwater scenes is that everything feels peaceful. The water softens the light, slows the movement, and creates an entirely different world beneath the surface. Once you're happy with the background, let it dry completely. Patience now will reward you later with crisp edges and beautiful clean colors. While we're waiting, here's a fun fact. Sea turtles have been swimming in Earth's oceans for over 100 million years. That means they shared the planet with dinosaurs and survived one of Earth's greatest mass extinctions. They are living pieces of history. Now, let's switch to a smaller brush. We'll begin painting our turtle with a soft yellow base layer. This accomplishes several things. It blends our watercolor pencil sketch, establishes the lightest values of the painting, and creates warm highlights that will glow beneath later layers. Remember, watercolor works from light to dark. Those bright areas are much easier to preserve now than they are to recover later. Once the yellow has settled in, we'll begin mixing a richer brownish yellow. Using this color, start defining the individual shell plates. Notice that I'm not outlining every shape perfectly. Instead, I'm allowing soft transitions and subtle variations to suggest the shell's natural texture. Now move down to the flippers, legs, and face. Begin adding the darker spots on markings unique to your sea turtle. Nature rarely repeats identical patterns, so don't worry if your turtle looks a little different from the reference. That's part of what makes wildlife painting so enjoyable. Every turtle has its own personality. Speaking of personality, sea turtles are famous for their incredible migrations. Some species travel thousands of miles across entire oceans before returning to the very same beach they were born. Scientists still don't fully understand how they navigate so accurately, but they may use Earth's magnetic field almost like a natural GPS. Isn't that amazing? Now let's continue building contrast. Introduce deeper greens, warmer browns, and even touches of burnt orange into the shell and flippers. These richer colors create texture and give the turtle a more realistic, organic appearance. Remember that every new layer should enhance the previous one rather than completely cover it. That's the beauty of watercolor. Each transparent wash adds depth while allowing the earlier colors to continue shining through. Keep moving around the painting. Add a little color to the shell, then back to the face, then perhaps deepen part of the background. Working this way allows each section to dry naturally while keeping the colors fresh and vibrant. As we begin refining the turtle's face, use a finer brush with less water and slightly thicker paint. Carefully define the eye. It's often the smallest detail that brings the entire painting to life. Add gentle shadows around the neck and beneath the shell to create dimension. You don't need dozens of tiny details, just enough to guide the viewer's eye. One thing I love about snorkeling is how quietly everything happens. There's no engine noise, no traffic, just the gentle sound of your own breathing and the peaceful rhythm of marine life moving around you. Watching a sea turtle glide effortlessly through the water reminds us that nature doesn't hurry, yet somehow everything happens exactly as it should. As we approach the final stages of this painting, step back every once in a while. Sometimes looking from a distance helps you notice where the painting needs a little bit more contrast or perhaps where it's already finished. One of the hardest lessons every artist learns is knowing when to stop. A few carefully placed brushstrokes often accomplish more than dozens of unnecessary ones. Continue adding subtle texture to the shell, strengthen a few shadows, and deepen portions of the surrounding water if needed. Before long, your turtle will begin to feel like it's truly swimming through the page. And there you have it, one peaceful sea turtle enjoying the warm waters of Mexico. I hope this painting reminds you of the incredible beauty hidden beneath the ocean surface and inspires you to keep exploring both nature and your own creativity. If you've been enjoying this series, I invite you to continue traveling with me. We've already visited Alaska, explored the colorful wildlife of Latin America, and there are many more incredible destinations and animals still waiting for us. You can find the complete playlist right here on the channel. If you enjoyed painting today, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up, left a comment telling me where in the world you'd like our next watercolor adventure to take us, and subscribe so you don't miss the next stop on our journey. Until next time, may you always find wonder in nature, inspiration in every destination, and joy in every brushstroke. Happy painting!